I'd like to call the regular Town Council meeting of July 1st to order. And moving on to a Pledge of Allegiance, if you can all please stand if you are able. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Councilor Buganski,
Present.
Councilor Lewis,
Present.
Councilor Balboni,
Present.
Councilor Carey,
Present.
Mayor Delnicki,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Saracusa,
Present.
Councilor King, Councilor Fitzgerald, Councilor Pendleton.
Thank you. Moving on to item 4, Mayor's remarks. Just a few words regarding Independence Day. This Thursday, we will be celebrating Independence Day, colloquially known as the 4th of July. It commemorates on the Declaration of Independence ratified by the Second Continental Congress on July 4th, 1776, establishing the United States of America. As we celebrate on Thursday, let's prioritize safety. Whether enjoying fireworks, parades, or gatherings, let's follow guidelines, stay hydrated, and look out for one another. Please enjoy the holiday safely. Thank you. And moving on to item 5, adoption of the agenda. Councilor Fitzgerald.
I move adoption of the agenda.
Any discussion, changes, additions, deletions? Deputy Mayor Saracusa.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have a few changes. I don't know if we want to do them all together or individually.
Let's do it individually.
Okay. So I'd like to move items 17A and 17B in between items 7 and 8.
Do I hear a second? Second. Any discussion on that? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Seeing none. Any other
Yes.
changes, Deputy Mayor?
Yep. I'd like to move 13H after 17C.
Second. We have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Seeing none. Passes. And any other changes, Deputy Mayor?
Yeah, I'd like to remove 12A since we do have a resolution on the table. There's no need to have a discussion on that prior to.
Do we hear?
So that was 12A. Remove that.
Okay. And we had a motion, we had a second. All those in favor? Say aye. Aye. Opposed? Seeing none.
And I just have
Any
one.
other changes? Deputy Mayor?
Yep, one more, I promise. I would like to make a motion to table 13E until the next meeting. The document that we received just has some conflicting items on it. So once we get that cleaned up, we'll be able to vote on that. So that was 13E tabled to our next meeting.
Second.
E echo, yeah, 13 echo.
Okay, we had a motion, we had a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Any other moves, changes, deletions? Seeing none. All those in favor of the adoption of the agenda as amended? All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Seeing none. Okay, that was a lot. Okay, moving on to number 6, communications and reports from the town manager. Mr. Maniscalco.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to start with my report on water safety. We've had several water saves so far this year at VMP. We want to remind our community that water safety is crucial because drowning can happen quickly and silently. It is one of the leading causes of accidental death in children. Watching your children in the water is essential to prevent accidents, ensure they are swimming safely, and to be able to respond immediately if they encounter trouble. Constant supervision and awareness can make a significant difference in protecting children from water-related injuries and fatalities. Troy Road chip sealing, the Department of Public Works applied rubberized chip seal on June 25th to the Troy Road in a section of Foster Street. The rubberized chip seal being applied is swept up the same day as the application. Rubberized chip seal is much less invasive than conventional chip seal, but unfortunately, with the nature of this necessary pavement application, it does still cause some complaints. The contractor currently has 2 sweepers sweeping up the loose stones on the applied streets as well as adjacent roads daily. Lawrence Road Disc Golf, pads for the disc golf course at Lawrence Road Park are dug out. We are going to be working on pouring concrete for all the pads and designing a locking mechanism for each disc golf basket so we can finalize the project. We anticipate this being complete by the end of summer. Pension Committee, the Pension Committee meeting was held on June 26th with Fiducian advisors. The committee reviewed the town's current investments as well as our current returns. There were no recommendations to make any modifications from Fiducian advisors. Today is July 1st, which marks the beginning of the new fiscal year. The Finance Department will be busy over the next few weeks closing out last year's books due to better than expected revenues and cost savings produced by staff. We're expecting to end fiscal year 23-24 with a surplus. As soon as I have those final numbers, I will share it with the council. A couple other items that are not on my written report for all of you. First of all, I sent the council all the information from CCM related to child care tax abatements and what communities have and have not actually enacted one. Also, you received the collector's report today, and just looking at the numbers from our tax collector, they're doing a great job. Last year, this time, overall, we were at 99.47%, and this year, we are at 99.5% for collections. Also wanted to note for the record that the annual report was posted to the town's website. Residents can get to go see that, and all the council has a link to be able to access that. And then lastly, I wanted to make sure everybody was aware they should have taxes, with it being July 1st, taxes are due, and they should have received their bills in the mail. They were mailed out on June 24th, so either today or within the next couple days you should be receiving it. But I would remind all residents that in the event that you do not receive a bill, it is still your responsibility to pay your taxes according to General Statute 12-130. Additionally, if we do receive return addresses on bills, the staff throughout the month of July and August will work on trying to track down where those bills are supposed to go. And with that, I would be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Councillor King.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you for your report, Mr. Maniscalco. Inquiry, in regards to those tax bills, do they come from us or from the state?
So the tax bills are from a third-party vendor. We provide the information to them.
Is there a possibility to get that at least a month, if not 2 months earlier? Because we just got ours last week, and then it says July 1st, and my wife was like, what are you on the town council for?
Sure, so you receive your tax bill on July, and it says it's due July 1st, but you're not receiving any interest or late fees until after the end of the month.
Right, so is there any way to get it sooner? I mean, it wouldn't cost us anymore, would it, from the third-party vendor? I'm just saying
I would have to ask what the process would be with the vendor. I'm not I'm not sure.
Just to give the residents time, because it seems as if as soon as you get it, then it's due. And this way, at least if you have a month, especially for those families that are traveling. Like there's a lot of families, summer vacation, and all of a sudden they get back, and it's like, oh, July 1st. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Pendleton.
Thank you. Mr. Maniscalco, we received your notification about the saves down at VMP, and hearing it in your report this evening, could you please inform our residents about any lessons that may be offered at VMP by the Park and Rec Department, or how they can look that up, or if there's any available, or?
Sure, so residents can access all the classes through the Parks and Rec website, or they can call the Parks and Recreation Department. They could get that number off our website. I don't have it off the top of my head. That being said, we do offer swimming lessons throughout the entire summer for almost all ages of kids. I don't know if we offer adult swim lessons, though.
All right, thank you. One more thing, sorry. Sorry, is that okay? Okay, one more thing. I'd just like to say that I know I sent you an email, and I also CC'd Jennifer Helinski on our tax collector on paying my taxes last week and doing it online. And I had the bill in front of me, and I went to pay it online through our services. And there's something many may not know or how to find it, because I didn't, and I had a call. But I did find it before she called me back. If you want to pay your July installment, because you do have the whole month to pay, if you want to just pay your July installment and you have a July and January installment, and you just want to pay July like half your bill, it's going to say the whole thing when you put it into your cart, but then when you go, you can choose to pay only that 1 month of July at that point. Because I couldn't find that prior to, so once it got into the cart, then I saw the whole thing, then it gave me the option to just pay the July installment. So that's why I called Jennifer about, and she immediately called me back, and I told her that I had found my answer. But while I was on the phone with her, I asked her about paying it through our town website or paying it through my bank, which would be faster. And immediately, if you go through the town website, it's immediately deducted from your bank, so you don't have to wait 5 days for your bank to send over a paper check and everything else. So you know you will have peace of mind that it happens instantaneously. Then I received an email stating so. So I know I complimented her, and she was very kind to help me to understand everything that I was asking. And it wasn't complicated, it's just not something I remember to do, you know, or all the intricacies of it on once or twice a year. So it was very helpful, and I compliment her and her staff on what they're doing. Thank you.
Yep, I'm glad it worked.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you, Mr. Maniscalco.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 7, public input for items on the agenda. Public input shall not exceed 30 minutes. When recognized by the mayor, the speaker shall approach the lectern, give their name and address. Speakers shall avoid personal attacks or impugning or alleging an improper motive to any person. The speaker may address the council on any item on the agenda. The speaker shall limit their speaking time to 5 minutes. Anyone would like to come forward? Mr. Kennedy.
First, I'd like to thank all the town councilors, town commissioners, and town employees for their hard work and their dedication, and I wish them a happy and safe summer. Second, please support your local town businesses, farm stands, and farmers market. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Anyone else like to come forward? Seeing none, moving on to 17A and B. Deputy Mayor Siracusa.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session and invite the town manager, Michael Maniscalco, and the HR director to discuss item 17A and 17B.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. We will return shortly. Call the regular meeting back to order. Moving on to item 8, Councilor King, adoption of the minutes of the previous meetings.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Approval of the June 17th, 2024 Town Council regular meeting minutes. Move that the South Windsor Town Council hereby approve the minutes of the regular Town Council meeting of June 17th, 2024.
Do I hear? We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Any changes on it? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Councilor King?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The approval of the June 17th, 2024 Town Council public hearing minutes, use of the LoCIP funds for the Police Department modernization. I move that the South Windsor Town Council hereby approve the minutes of the Police Department modernization project, also known as LoCIP funds, public hearing of June 17th, 2024.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion, changes? Councilor Lewis?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. It says here the public hearing was closed at 8:13. We didn't have anyone show up, so it had to have closed like 8:02 or 8:03, because we rolled right into something else. So I just would like the minutes to reflect that.
Okay. Thank you for the changes. All those in favor of the changes? It was only 2 minutes.
It's fine, I'll accept the change.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Councilor King?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The approval of the June 17th Town Council public hearing minutes, use of the capital non-recurring funds for the Police Department modernization. I move that it be resolved that the South Windsor Town Council hereby approve the minutes of the Police Department modernization project, capital non-recurring funds, public hearing of June 17th, 2024. Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any changes on these minutes, corrections? Councilor Lewis?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. And final one, Councilor King.
I move that the South Windsor Town Council hereby approve the minutes of the Plan of Conservation and Development public hearing of June 17th, 2024.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any changes? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, moving on to item 9, communications, liaisons, officers, boards directly responsible to the council. Councilor Carey?
Planning and zoning met last Tuesday, and they did review the plan of conservation and development. They did get feedback similar to what we got and some additional feedback. They did close the public hearing, and we'll be voting on it at their next meeting.
Any other communications? Deputy Mayor Siracusa.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I was at the library board meeting last week. It's good to see the board still basically doing their regular duties. I had a great conversation with Mr. Maniscalco about that. Just as, you know, we all intended and hoped, he's certainly looking at their wisdom and guidance, as well as chipping in when he needs to. They were overlooking their bylaws, and something to note for the public. I know we were looking to diversify the board as far as age, what have you. They are going to be adding two alternate spots to the library board. So there will be a spot for Republican and Democrat. So if you are hearing this and you'd like to be considered, reach out to your local Republican or Democrat committee, and there will be a spot. I don't necessarily know when. I know they're planning on voting and approving those bylaws next meeting, so I don't know if that goes into effect immediately. I don't know if the town attorney he's nodding his head yes. So yeah, it should be as early as the next month or two where there's an opportunity for us to get some alternates. And basically how these boards work, if you are an alternate, there is a good chance that you will be voting at the meeting. You know, it's very hard for everybody to show up. So if you're out there, love the library, want to make an impact, definitely look out for those changes, and hopefully we can have you on the board. That's it.
Okay, seeing none, I have to report we had our first Housing and Fair Rent Commission meeting last week, And our town attorney gave a great explanation on the duties of the board. And also, there are openings on the Housing and Fair Rent Commission. There's 2 open positions for the third party, like UCP, unaffiliated, independent party. So there's 2 open positions there and 1 alternate of a Democrat slot. And I believe we're already filled with landlords and residents of or tenants. So we just need regular residents who want to be part of the commission. So you can reach out to any of the political parties if you want to be part of the third party, the 2 seats that are open. So any of the parties can sign you up. Well, you can reach out to the parties to say you want to be on there. So if you're unaffiliated, you can reach out to the Dems, to the Rs, or to the UCP.
That's the correct word is unaffiliated. Yes. Not independent, not because those are a party. So it's unaffiliated.
But it says third party in the ordinance, so third party.
Oh, it does?
Yes, so it's third party, unaffiliated.
Okay.
Or UCP.
Okay.
Yeah. But just reach out to one of the parties. And that's all I have. Moving on to item 10, reports from committees. Councilor King.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's not a report necessarily from a specific committee. However, I would like to just address the fact that I realize that we're summertime, summer vacations, all those types of things. However, when we do have committees that the town is quote-unquote responsible for, or we do have people that want to be on these committees, that I ask that they do their best to show up. We have a number of committees that unfortunately have canceled on multiple occasions, and those individuals that wish that it wouldn't be canceled get frustrated. So please, if you have a situation, you have an issue, please let the appropriate party know. Please let the town council know. Anybody on the town council can help you out, but we need to make sure that our committees are doing the work that they, some of them, most of them, have said that they wanted to do. Again, I recognize that this time of year, sometimes you want to do some other things, and that's fine, but I have found that we have a lot of committees, a lot of commissions that are not meeting, which is very unfortunate, especially for those that really want to be a part of doing something special for our town. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor King. Any other? Nope, seeing none. Moving on to item 11, consent agenda. We have none, no first readings, no second readings, and no miscellaneous, item C. And we removed unfinished business, item 12. Moving on to 13, new business, Councilor Pendleton.
13A, resolution authorizing the transfer of funds from capital non-reoccurring in the amount of $100,000 to the library chiller replacement account, number 44034-300-00320. It's not done. Whereas the library chiller
Oh, wait,
is
hold on, Councilor
Hold on.
Pendleton.
I'm holding.
Yes, that's part of the public hearing.
That's what?
Part of the public hearing.
Yes, so that can't be, I was going to do a point of order and say we have to wait for the public hearing to occur.
Deputy
First?
Mayor just,
Yes,
I know.
at 8 o'clock.
I should have put public hearing on above my notes.
Right.
So, moving on.
Moving on, we'll come back to that after the public hearing, I suppose.
I guess we were moving a lot faster than we expected. Okay, since we are ahead of schedule, item 13B, Councilor Boganski.
Resolution accepting the agreement between the Town of South Windsor, Connecticut and the South Windsor Library Union, Local 1303-488 of Council Number 4, AFSCME, for the period January 1, 2023 through June 30, 2027. Be it resolved that the South Windsor Town Council authorizes Town Manager Michael Maniscalco to enter in a contract between the Town of South Windsor, Connecticut and Local 1303-488 of Council Number 4, American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, Said contract to be in effect from January 1, 2023 through June 30, 2027.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Moving on to 13C, Counselor Balboni.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Resolution accepting the agreement between the Town of South Windsor, Connecticut and South Windsor Dispatchers Union, UPSEU, Local 424, Unit 104, Public Safety Dispatchers, Community Service Officers and Support Services Technicians for the period July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2028. Be it resolved that the South Windsor Town Council authorizes Town Manager Michael Maniscalco to enter into a contract between the Town of South Windsor, Connecticut and UPSEU Local 424, Unit 104, Public Safety Dispatchers, Community Service Officers and Support Services Technicians. Said contract to be in effect from July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2028.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Counselor Pendleton?
Thank you. Mr. Maniscalco, I'd just like to publicly thank our HR Director, Vanessa Perry, for all the hard work that she's done with all the contracts that we had to do this year and giving us all the details about everything. We really appreciate her hard work.
Yeah, I would just echo that, and I will make sure that she receives it. I would say this year in particular was a little different than most for her, and you know, she had to do 4 contracts, I believe, almost all at the same time. And due to the timing of the way all these contracts have now been done out, that'll now stagger moving forward. So should make the job a little easier.
And none of them went to?
And none of the contracts went to arbitration or mediation.
That's
Very pleased with
accomplishing
that.
quite a bit. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Pendleton. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. 13D, Counselor Carey.
Resolution accepting the deed for streets in the Chestnut Ridge Open Space Subdivision. Be it resolved that the South Windsor Town Council hereby accepts the deed for streets within the following subdivisions: Chestnut Ridge Open Space Subdivision, I'm going to massacre this one, Freedom Place 1390 LF, Open Space 33.05 acres.
We have a second. We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Moving on to 13F, Counselor King.
Oh, okay, thank you so much. I apologize. Resolution accepting the resignation of Jeff Khaleesi from the South Windsor Arts Commission effective June 13th, 2024. I move that the South Windsor Town Council hereby accept with regret the resignation of Jeff Khaleesi from the South Windsor Arts Commission effective June 13th, 2024. Be it further resolved that the South Windsor Town Council extend its thanks to Jeff Khaleesi for the time that he dedicated to serving the community by membership on the South Windsor Arts Commission.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to 13G, Counselor Lewis.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Resolution accepting the resignation of Baden Masamik from the Mass Transit and Highway Advisory Commission effective June 16, 2024. Be resolved by the town that the Town of South Windsor Council hereby accepts with regret the resignation of Bohan Makizimik from the Transit and Highway Advisory Commission effective June 16, 2024.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those, any discussion? Counselor Lewis? Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to extend a friendly amendment to Councilor Lewis. It actually says in the last paragraph, Jeff Khaleesi's name there. So if we can change that to the correct name. And I also just want to thank Bodan for his time on the commission. He's an incredible man, extremely kind. So just thank you for the time that you've put on to Mass Transit.
And do you accept that friendly amendment, Counselor Lewis? Yes. Okay, All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Okay, 13H is moved. We can't do 14. Moving on to...
Madam Mayor, I'd like to
Yes.
move that we, I guess, take a recess until 7:59. We have nothing left until
Still public input?
public input. We can't, that's part of the public input,
That's part of the public
the second
hearing.
public input. Yeah. So if we could take a, I guess,
9,
a 17-minute recess.
all those in favor? Okay, okay, motion passes. We'll be in recess, returning at 8 o'clock. calling the regular meeting to order, and we'll suspend the regular town council meeting for our public hearing. The public hearing is to receive public input on the use of capital non-reoccurring funds for the library chiller project. Ms. Senrith, if you can please read the public notice.
To be published in the Journal Inquirer, June 21st, 2024. Legal ad, Town of South Windsor. Notice is hereby given that the South Windsor Town Council has set Monday, July 1st, 2024 at 8 p.m. in the council chambers of the South Windsor Town Hall, 1540 Sullivan Ave, South Windsor, Connecticut, as a time and place for a public hearing to receive citizen input on the use of $100,000 of capital non-recurring funds for the library chiller project, dated at South Windsor, Connecticut, this 18th day of June 2024. Attested to by Catherine Senrith, Executive Assistant.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak during this public hearing for capital non-reoccurring funds for the library chiller project? Okay, seeing that there's no one here to speak on this at this public hearing at this time, I will close the public hearing and we will take a straw poll. And it's not a scientific poll, but all those in favor of using the capital non-recurring funds? All those opposed? Okay. Thank you, and we will now resume the regular meeting at this time. Moving on to item 13A. Councilor Pendleton.
Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. 13A, resolution authorizing the transfer of funds from capital non-reoccurring in the amount of $100,000 to the library chiller replacement project, account number 4403300000320. I'm not done. Whereas the library chiller is over 25 years old and beyond its useful life expectancy, and whereas proposals to replace the chiller were recently received, totaling $300,000, $100,000 above our current available allocation, and whereas by transferring a total of $100,000 from the capital non-reoccurring account to the library chiller project account 4403-4300-00320, the project will be fully funded. And whereas the required public hearing was held on Monday, July 1st, 2024, now therefore be it resolved that the South Windsor Town Council hereby authorizes Town Manager Michael Maniscalco to transfer $100,000 from the capital non-reoccurring account to fund the library chiller replacement project. Couldn't get that word out.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion on this question? Seeing none, all those in favor
Madam Mayor,
say
sorry. The third paragraph up, where it says transferring at, I'd like to make a friendly amendment to change that to A.
Do you accept the friendly amendment, Councilor Pendleton?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Amendment made. Okay. Now we're on for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Okay. Do we want to move on to number 15? Okay, moving on to item 15, public input for any matter. Public input for any matter over which the council has jurisdiction shall not exceed 30 minutes. When recognized by the mayor, the speaker shall approach the lectern, give their name and address. Speakers shall avoid personal attacks or impugning or alleging an improper motive to any person. The speaker may address the council on any item over which a council has jurisdiction. The speaker shall limit their speaking time to 5 minutes. Anyone who would like to come forward at this time on any matter? Mr. Young? On any matter, Mr. Young. If you can turn on the mic, please, and speak directly into it, that would, it's on the agenda, but it's on any matter, right? So can't, it says for any matter. Or any other? Should have spoken on item number 7. I mean, you want to accept the comments? I mean, even though it's on the agenda?
And, I mean, it says for any other matter. Sorry. It says for any other matters, yes, I think we should accept.
Go ahead, Mr. Young.
Yes, my name is Kenny Young, 595 Avery Street, South Windsor. I just want you guys to take a good look at your, whatever, giving him a raise. You should give it to the school instead of, I'm not pointing fingers, but think about it, that's all. Please, he doesn't deserve it. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Young. Seeing no other Seeing no one other coming forward, moving on to item 16, communications from the council. Councilor Carey?
Oh, go ahead.
Well, who put on their microphone first?
He did.
Okay, Councilor King.
Thank you, Councilor Clary. Just wanted to read this letter that we received from one of our residents, from Damian Humphrey. Dear Town Council members, please accept this letter as part of the public input portion in today's discussion and presentation of the sidewalk plans for Birch Hill Drive. I'd like to recommend that as part of this sidewalk plan, the town of South Windsor place traffic speed cameras in the corner of Foster Street and Birch Hill Drive. The Connecticut State Legislature last year passed a law allowing municipalities to install automated red light and traffic speed cameras. This tool will make this project and our streets safer for the children, families, and all community members using the intersection every day. On average, I see 5 to 10 vehicles drive past the stop signs located at this intersection, sometimes driving well over 50 miles an hour or doing what is termed a rolling stop. I have also observed several close collisions when multiple drivers come to that intersection speeding and not stopping at the stop signs. Thank you for your service. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions regarding my observations and concerns. Sincerely, Damian Humphrey, at 6 Birch Hill Drive, South Windsor, Connecticut. Thank you.
Was that sent to the entire council or just to you, Councilor King?
It was sent to the entire, says town council members.
I don't think I saw that. When was that dated? June?
June 26, 2024. I'll pass it.
I was going to say,
I'll pass it on.
I was going to say, it didn't come through the portal or anything, did it? Okay, thank you. Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Were you done?
Yeah, just one more thing.
Oh,
Thank you.
sorry, Councilor
Nope,
King.
not at all. Just a reminder through our senior center, and they do an awesome job, only because a couple of questions have popped up in the past and have come up again. Renters rebate. I'm not going to read the whole thing. However, if you did rent an apartment 2023, 65, totally disabled, the income limits are $43,800 for an individual and $53,400 for a couple, blah, 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 blah. But the deadline is now September 30th, 2024. So please know that the rebate checks will be sent out no earlier than November 30th. However, they have made an extension, but there will no longer be an extension period to file an application after this new deadline of September 30th, 2024. So if you have an issue in regards to your rent, 65, totally disabled, you meet the income limits, please make that filing. Thank you.
Okay, Deputy, now it's your turn, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Since we have 5 minutes, I figured it'd be good to piggyback off of what Councilor King said earlier about the lack of just folks showing up to boards, committees, commissions, and also, you know, the openings that we have. I know Councilor King and I have talked about this in the past, getting a working group put together to look at the attendance records, meetings, or committees that haven't met over a certain period of time, and maybe analyzing which ones could combine, maybe they're handling like things. So I would like to put together a working group, however that works, putting one of those together. So we can examine that, and maybe simplifying these things would be a less intimidating list to look at. And of course, more importantly, I don't think people realize, like, when I first got into this, it's volunteers in your town. Obviously, the town staff is doing what they do, but it really is volunteers in this town that are doing the nitty-gritty stuff behind the scenes, and it's pretty amazing. So, yeah, I just think it'd be great to have us put some work, a little bit of work, to figure out how to simplify this issue, and then it's up for the folks in town to sign up. And that's all I got. Thank you.
Councilor Lewis.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I got a couple communications from residents who were talking to me about the flagpoles, and they were asking me if I could do something about it. And I thought about this a lot, and I talked to other council members on the side, and I got some education, and I know it'd be hard to do, but I think we can have a program to unify the town. And where we do that is we fly flags that represent all of us. And I'm not talking about, this is not against any group or people. We represent every group and every person in town. So I think we should fly the U.S. flag, the state flag, and the town flag. And if you're in the geographic area of those, then we represent you fairly and honestly. And to, even with groups which like POW, which God bless them, and the police department, those flags should be for the U.S., the state, and the town. And I think that could be a unifying call to that's what we stand for. Everyone is part of that. And how anyone could be against something that includes everybody, I don't know, but I think we should try.
So you want to not have the POW MIA flag? Is that what you're saying?
Well, when you put it like that, it sounds very negative. I'm not against that. I do a lot of service work for the veterans. What I want to have, I want them to be recognized and appreciated, but not on our flag poles. Our flag poles are for the state, for the nation, the state, and the town.
But the POWs and MIAs did serve our country.
Granted, I'm not taking anything away from them. I'm just trying to unify everyone into our town. And we should be grateful. We should service them, and we should use other flagpoles in town for them. But the flagpoles here should be the nation, the state, and the town, in my opinion.
Okay. Thank you, Councilor Lewis. Any other communications from the council? Seeing none.
Oh, could I?
Oh,
please?
yes.
Thank you.
Councilor
Mr. Maniscalco, could you just put a reminder out there to our residents that may be watching this meeting about Pleasant Valley Road reconstruction, please? Because it's getting more and more difficult for cars to go down there. We accidentally, by habit, went down there one day, and they have a lot of large equipment on that road, so it'd be the best to avoid that unless maybe they live there. But like for through traffic, I wouldn't, not that I'm the traffic person, because I'm not, but I would suggest maybe an alternate route, you know, instead of going down that road.
We can put out a social media blast.
Thank you.
Okay, we can pause for 1 minute because we have the public hearing at 8:15, so we'll pause 1 minute. We will now suspend the regular town council meeting for our public hearing. The public hearing is to receive citizen input on the proposed smoking ordinance in town parks. Ms. Sennerts, if you could please read the public notice.
To be published in the Journal Enquirer, June 21st, 2024. Legal ad, Town of South Windsor. Notice is hereby given that the South Windsor Town Council has set Monday, July 1st, 2024 at 8:15 p.m. in the council chambers of the South Windsor Town Hall, 1540 Sullivan Ave, South Windsor, Connecticut, as a time and place for a public hearing to receive citizen input on the proposed smoking ordinance in town parks. Dated at South Windsor, Connecticut, this 18th day of June 2024, attested to by Catherine Sennerth, Executive Assistant.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the public who would like to come and speak regarding the proposed smoking ordinance in town parks? Okay, at this time, I will close the public hearing and we'll take a straw poll. It's not a scientific poll, but all those in favor of the proposed smoking ordinance in town parks, please raise your hand. Opposed? Okay, thank you. And we will now resume our regular meeting at this time. Item 17C, Deputy Mayor Siracusa.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Resolution adopting an ordinance to prohibit smoking in certain public... I'm sorry?
Sorry. I'm looking at the wrong page.
I didn't even hear that. Did you say the number?
Item 14, passage of ordinance.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Resolution adopting an ordinance to prohibit smoking in certain public areas in the town of South Windsor. Be it resolved that the South Windsor Town Council hereby adopts the proposed ordinance prohibiting smoking in certain public areas in the town of South Windsor as shown in Exhibit A.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? Councilor Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have, I don't know if it would be a friendly amendment or whatever, but one small correction to the ordinance itself on page 2 of the ordinance in section 3B. The word "in" is missing between permitted and designated in that first line.
Which page again? You said page 2?
On page 2, yep, section 3, subparagraph B. Should be smoking devices is permitted in designated smoking areas. Good job. Cool. Thank you.
Kathy, did you find
Okay.
out? Okay.
Accept that change. And also, is there any other discussion? Councilor Pendleton.
Yes, I have a question for the town manager. Mr. Maniscalco, on page 2, it states that the permitted designated areas, and it states that you will work with our staff to figure that out for designated areas, and the signage will be, right, clear and concise. What my question is, that's correct what I'm saying, right?
Correct.
Okay. And then where it says smoking and non-smoking, my question is, where it stands now, is it 25 feet away from a building, the public building? Is that how it stands now for smoking?
That's my understanding.
Is that written somewhere? Because it says smoking devices prohibited and within 25 feet of all public areas. So here's my question. If we have a public park and over on the first page it says public parks including streets, alleys, parking areas, and sidewalks adjacent thereto. So 25 feet away from that area is where folks are gonna have to go.
Correct.
Okay, so if you have Nevers Road Park, which is huge and it has sidewalks, 25 feet would be across the street, but then we have the police department and then we have, so that corner is not, would not be a significant area.
Correct.
Because we
So
have the sledding hill and then we also have the police department and, I mean, that's my number one that's popping into my head. So from as far as a designated area, if you're down on the bottom field with your child and they're playing soccer, where's someone supposed to go to have a cigarette? In that area? Up on the other side, up onto,
So what I'm gonna guess we're gonna have to do is, myself and staff will probably have to sit with the GIS and actually, there's a tool on there where you can make a 25-foot radius, and we'll have to see where we can fit that in somewhere within the park in that area. And we're
Okay.
probably gonna have to do that in most of our public parks to try to see the appropriate area for where this should go.
I mean, Chief Ryan Way on the other side of it and,
Maybe
or
somewhere
up
over
closer,
there, or, yeah, I don't know where off the top of my head.
middle of Nevers Road, I don't know, on the yellow line, I don't know. I'm sorry.
I don't know about the
I
middle
just-
of the road,
I'm
but-
just trying to figure out in that whole corner, because you have the high school, you have the community center, you have the field, you have Nevers Road, you have the police department. So like in that lower corner, there's no anywhere. And if you go north on pretty much you'd have to be in the middle of the road to do it. And then if you go the other way, east, heading towards, up the hill there, towards Ellington, I mean, it's kind of a,
Well, until we sit down with the map and actually do the work. I mean, we've got really good people that work for us, and I'm sure they're gonna be able to figure something out. That was convincing.
I mean, I get it. Deputy Mayor, relax over there. I get it. I get it. I get it. I'm just in my head. And for Rice Street Park, you can't go to the parking lot. You can't go near you have to go out onto Rice Street itself. And that's 25 feet, so then you're in somebody's yard. Because all of that is surrounded by neighborhood. You see what I'm saying? It's a little,
I understand what you're saying. I think we need to, like I said, we would actually have to look at it with the radius tool on GIS and figure out the exact location.
well, here tonight,
without-
we're voting on this ordinance, and it doesn't, we may not be able to meet the requirements of this ordinance, and/or if we do, like I said, you're gonna be sending folks into neighbors' yards or into the middle of a road somewhere.
I don't think we're gonna send anybody in a neighbor's yard or road. And I do think that we'll be able to find a location that would provide 25 feet for people to smoke.
Okay. I'm just saying.
I know you don't want to have to come back.
I don't want to have to come back and change
To
the
change
ordinance.
the ordinance.
Right.
No, I
Because
understand that.
it's concerning to me, and I mean, even if we're at the Mitchell Fairground, 25 feet from that is in the middle of the road, or the other side of the street. Or, really, technically, it's 25 feet away from that property. Someone has to cross the road to get away from, so it's just a little baffling to me. I'm not
But
saying.
also, I mean, this is your ordinance and your meeting. You could also take the 25 feet out, and you can say at the discretion of town staff and let us find the appropriate location.
A special designated area without using the
25-foot mark.
Can we keep the square
Because
feet?
25 feet is really putting people in the road or in neighbors' properties, and that's not going to work if you really think about it. Or they're going to be on Troy Road, because that's another, they'll be on Troy Road or they'll be on Brookfield, or is it Brookfield?
Brookfield.
Brookfield, yeah. So the 25 feet concerns me.
Counselor Carey.
So I think, B says exceptions, right? And it says smoking use, blah, 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 which will be at least 25 feet from the public area or building. I think the intent there was to be 25 feet from, if it's fields, from the fields, which could end up being, and I thought when we had the first one, there were some mock-ups that had this in the corner of a parking lot or something.
Pictures.
The intent was to be 25 feet away from where people are gathering. And, if, whether it be, soccer fields or football fields or, the carnival or the fireworks the other night. So, I mean, if this wording concerns you, I think that was the intent of the wording, was to designate a spot in appropriate town property that would be away from the athletic fields or places of gathering, where people would be allowed to smoke, right?
Sure. So, I mean, you know, the mock-ups that we provided in the earlier meeting had different locations that were being thought of for possibilities. You know, the 25-foot rule, you could keep it, you could do it differently and say it's at town staff discretion, or however you'd like to do it. That's at the pleasure of the council, so.
Oh, I understand the intent. I understand the intent. However, if you look at page 1, it's very specific. Public parks, including street, alley, parking areas, and sidewalks adjacent thereto. Playgrounds, playing fields, including street, alley, parking areas, and sidewalks adjacent thereto. So public buildings is an obvious. But the other areas, when we're looking at our parks, and then you're looking at including the streets, alleys, parking areas, and sidewalks adjacent thereto, and then you have the same thing in the second, in Roman numeral number 2, where does that put people? That's what I'm saying. It's contradicting itself. It's 25 feet, so you have to literally get out and go 25 feet away from that whole everything. So how are you going to be able to make a designated smoking area near that? I understand the intent, but how are you going to, you're not going to be able to do that unless they're on the other side of Chief Ryan Way, or they're all the way down to Lake Street on the other side of the farmer's market. I mean, that's more than 25 feet, but you're talking sidewalks, streets, alleys, all of it, and parking areas. So, go ahead.
Councilor Carey, go ahead.
So I understand what you're saying, and but I think that what we just need to do is, this is clearly, it says exceptions. So we just need to finagle the wording here to say, you know, that the exception is that there will be, you know, smoking will be permitted in designated smoking areas identified by smoking permitted signages, which will be at least 25 feet, maybe instead of from the public area, maybe we could say from, we were trying to keep it away from, make sure that whatever was designated was away from where the ball fields were, the carnivals were, the fireworks were, or a building, right? As maybe we say, as determined by Parks and Rec.
Make a
And just add
suggestion.
that, okay.
Sure, make a suggestion that would, or town staff, yeah. Do you see what I mean by town staff? Not just Park and Rec. It could be our GIS people are getting involved in that too, to determine where it's located. So that's why I would include town staff also.
So could we make a friendly amendment to page 2, section 3B, to add
A and B.
A and B, to add as identified by the town's, the appropriate town staff, or the town GIS and Parks and Rec staff?
By the town manager.
Okay, I'm fine with that. Would that be acceptable?
Councilor Pendleton?
I'm good with that, as long as you don't have to hike 3 miles to, you know, that's more than 25 feet, but because that's a big section over there. So, yes, that's acceptable. In designated smoking areas within wherever, by the town.
Councilor Carey?
So, Councilor Siracusa, would that be an acceptable amendment to, so that we can vote on it?
Yeah, assuming those locations that we saw earlier, I think the only one we had a little problem with was the one that was down by the Never soccer field that seemed to be like right on top of the field. It's kind of counterintuitive to what we're trying to do. But yeah, I don't think the intent was ever to have people hike 3 miles down the road or anything like that. So however the wording has to be, just, that's fine by me. I'm not a lawyer.
So looking at this, I think you should amend, as Councilor Carey just indicated, remove the language at the end of section 3B and take out the language at least 25 feet from the public area and buildings and replace it with at the discretion of the town manager.
Wouldn't that also be an A?
think you need it in A, right? Or you don't need it in A? Guess you don't need it in A, based on what the town
I
manager is
don't
telling me.
think you need it in A, because it says that basically no smoking is allowed within 25 feet of any public area. I mean, that's the general idea of the whole thing. Then B is the exception, correct? So B is what says, here's the one location you can then smoke. So you don't need it at the discretion of the town manager in A,
Got it. So that's just going to go in B.
just B.
Got it. And then, so should that be reflected on page 1 also?
She
To-
still has the.
Would that also be on page 1 with a definite? I'm sorry, would you like to speak? Is there a problem? Well, I was called on first, and then I let Counselor Carey respond, and then we're just in the middle of a conversation, just trying to figure out where it would go. That's all. And it's kind of answering my question, addressing my issue. And so should that be also somewhere on page 1, explained as designated by town staff or the town manager of the town of South Windsor or something like that?
No, because it's in the exceptions.
No, it's good?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you for addressing my concerns.
Thank you. Anybody else? Counselor Boganski.
Just a quick question. If we're going to designate smoking areas, does that mean that we, as the town, have to or should provide proper disposal containers for those areas and obviously maintain them?
Yeah, so my thought is we would probably put some type of a sign up, similar to like a street sign type scenario, and there's going to be some type of container on there for people to put cigarettes in.
Thank you. Any other further discussion? Seeing none. And Deputy Mayor, you accepted the friendly amendment changes?
Yes.
Okay. And we had a motion, we had a second, we had our discussion. All those in favor of passage of the ordinance, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Now we're on to 17C. Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to go into executive session and invite Town Manager Michael Maniscalco to discuss item 17C, personnel issue. Town Manager Michael Maniscalco.
We have a second?
Can I have a discussion on that in point of order? Because it says personnel issue, it does not say evaluation. And it's supposed to say why we're going into executive session, isn't it, Mr. Town Attorney?
I'm sorry, what was the question here? You're talking about?
It says
the-
personnel issue, Town Manager Michael Maniscalco, but as it doesn't state, should it not state evaluation? It has in the
I
past.
think that's sufficient to identify it's a personnel issue for the town manager. That's exempt under FOIA, whether it's his evaluation or a personnel issue or.
That's good enough?
It's good enough, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We will return to the regular meeting for item 13H as soon as we are done with executive session. like to call the regular meeting back to order. Item 13H, Counselor Begansky.
One point of order before I start. Am I going to say the actual number this time, or am I doing the blanks? Okay, I just want to make sure, because the last time we did this, we were all over the map, so. Okay. Resolution approving an annual salary increase of 3% for Town Manager Michael Maniscalco for fiscal year 2024-2025. Be it resolved that the South Windsor Town Council hereby approves an annual salary increase of 3% for the fiscal year 2024-2025 for Town Manager Michael Maniscalco.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Abstentions? Roll call, please.
Counselor Begansky?
Yay.
Counselor Lewis?
Yay.
Counselor Balboni?
Nay.
Counselor Carey?
Nay.
Mayor Delnicki?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Syracuse? Counselor King? Yes. Counselor Fitzgerald? Yes. Counselor Pendleton? Yes. 6 yeses and 2 noes.
6-2, motion carries.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Hearing none. We're adjourned.